There is nothing that I hate more than Black Friday shopping.
But what is the logic? Who is dying to buy an air fryer after they just had all that food?
Welcome to the Mom Thread by Parade, where we take on what's trending. I'm Laura Bell Bundy.
And I'm Zarna Garg.
So, Zarna, one thing that I love about the winter is the holidays. I have a lot of family traditions that I'm passing down to my son, and then there are some new traditions which seem like I'm learning from Instagram and TikTok. What are some of the most memorable traditions that you have from your childhood that you pass down to your kids, and what are some of the new traditions that you've started with your family?
So, unfortunately, our traditions are not so Instagrammable because they all revolve around the kids doing more homework. It's all about the extra homework. It's about getting ahead in math, getting ahead in science. So I don't know what we would possibly Instagram like kids. I would have three kids looking down, like with you would just see the tops of their heads. But I, as a mom, loved it. I love the idea of them walking into school in January, like so far ahead of the class. I was so, oh my God. People have reasons for being vain. That was my vanity. Is that crazy?
No, I love it. I love it. You're like, you have 2 weeks off, you have nothing to do. Get ahead in math.
Finish the syllabus. We're on to the next grade already.
Good thinking, Cougar. Until you pin me, George, Festivus is not over.
Oh, please, somebody stop this.
Let's rumble!
I come from a really big Southern Catholic family, but we used to have this big Christmas Eve, and everybody opened presents, and we did the white elephant. You know, the white elephant where we did the dirty elephant.
The dirty elephant.
Yes, and oh my gosh, we did it with my grandparents before they passed away. They're like in their late 80s, and I put a blow-up doll in there. And my grandfather's reaction was absolutely hilarious. And he laughed too. He had this big and then laughing, and yeah, I almost peed from laughing that hard on that particular Christmas.
I mean, I think some of the traditions are so amazing, but transition, that's life. I mean, before I became a comedian, Christmas week was the week you had off from everything. Now it's the busiest week of my year from work. I'm not even home. Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, I'm usually working.
You know, when you are in Broadway, biggest time of the year for people to go see shows is Christmas. So we don't get Christmas off. We actually had, like when I was doing Broadway, we actually had a show on Christmas. Now, sometimes that's fun. If you get Christmas Eve off, that's fun. You know, you kind of, that's the time with your family. And my family from Kentucky would sometimes come to New York. And sometimes I would fly home just for literally 24 hours to have that and fly back the next day on Christmas to do the show.
Yeah.
And once I didn't make it. My flight was circling above the Newark airport and it couldn't land. And then it landed in Philadelphia. I had to take the train in and I arrived at Act 2.
Ah! So we've been talking about all these holiday traditions. There's some traditions that are so popular. Let's talk about either or. Which ones do we like? Which ones do we not care for? What about Thanksgiving weekend and watching football or watching the Thanksgiving Day parade? I personally would want to watch the parade, but I think my kids want to keep the football on all the time.
So I'm definitely a Thanksgiving Day parade watcher. I like to have it on. It gets me in the spirit of Christmas. I actually like football, but I like to watch my own team.
I understand it. I don't even watch football, but I get it because it's been so heavily associated with Thanksgiving the whole time I've been in America that it feels wrong if it's not on. Okay, what about Black Friday shopping or ugly sweater parties?
There is nothing that I hate more than Black Friday shopping.
What is the logic? Who is dying to buy an air fryer after they just had all that food? Do you know what I mean?
Oh my God! Oh my God, Crystal, what is that blood?
Oh,
Honey,
Keegan, I've done something terrible.
What, honey? What did you do? What did you do?
I I think I killed a bunch of people.
What? How?
You know how this is the biggest shopping weekend of the year.
Oh, Krista, you did not go to the mall, did you?
I wasn't gonna.
Okay, how about hiding the elf on the shelf or drinking daily eggnog? I know eggnog is a thing in America. I'd never got it, so neither of them. I'm not hiding anything. We're not playing faux hide and seek for sure.
So I like eggnog. I don't think I drink it daily, but I do. I think I would lean more towards that way than hiding the elf on the shelf. Last year, my son was 2. He didn't really notice, and all my friends were like, "Take your time. This is just more work for moms."
Mom, exactly.
If he's not into it, if he doesn't know it, don't introduce it. So I feel like this year kind of is the year. So even though the elf on the shelf is a new tradition for me, how about these newer traditions that we're going to be seeing online here? Should we take a look and see if we're into these things?
Yep.
You're a monster, Mr. Grinch. Your heart's an empty hole.
This just sounds like
It sounds like so much work.
so much work.
It sounds like so much. Who came up with it? Even though I appreciated the simplicity of the brown paper bag and the white notes, it still feels like so much work. You gotta hang the wire and the paper. Oh my God.
You gotta come up with this stuff. That just seems like a lot of work to not only get it together, but then to like, hey, here's stuff for you to do. Like, I think you can have good intentions with like your kids and say, hey, we're gonna look at all the toys that we have and we're gonna donate a few this year before we get some new toys. But this other one just feels like, I'm exhausted watching that. I would never do it.
Day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 12 drummers drumming, 11 pipers piping, 10 lords a-leaping, 9 ladies dancing.
I like this family. I want to hang out with them.
I agree. Somebody else plan it and give me the paper.
I might even plan this one. This is like way more my speed. I think my family would be into it and dig it.
Could you imagine? That looks like the job of an orchestra conductor. Do families that big get together anymore?
I love a big family gathering. I love the laughter that comes from the chaos.
Yeah.
Every year on Christmas morning, I make my 11-year-old son sit in front of the tree and just stare at the presents and not let him open any until I say so. About 2 hours and 58 minutes.
No.
No.
No, that seems mean.
That's not real.
3 hours? Are you kidding? I think my kids would eat me. They would like cut me up and throw me to the wolves. They would be like, we don't need her. We already got the presents.
I say boo on that one. I like this.
I like it, but I'm realizing I'm not disciplined enough to do most of this. You think you could keep it up year over year, every year?
I always do try to take a little bit of time for myself on New Year's Eve. It's important for me to reflect, and it's important for me to actually write down what it is that I would like the following year. So something like this, I think, not only would be like a good exercise to also, feel grateful for the things that happened and put you in a good place.
No, I like the idea of it. I think the idea is amazing. I think it's the execution that I'm not sure I have the ability to pull it off. But I do think that if you can, it would be interesting to see the growth year over year.
I think I might do this.
I can't wait to hear. I might make my kids do it. So this has been so fun going through the past traditions, what people are doing on TikTok. But if you had to invent your own tradition, what would it be?
Well, I think a big one would be that Daddy would participate in the late night coordination with Santa Claus.
Oh, I love that. Burn. And I have older kids, so I think for me, the new tradition would be that wherever we are, we be together. I actually don't care what we do when we're together. But if we can make it so every year during Christmas time we are together, that's enough for me.
Want to jump on the mom thread? Leave a comment saying so, and maybe we'll call you up. We would love to hear from you.
Thank you for watching, guys.
Happy holidays!